What's up, guys? Just finishing up a chest workout. I want to show you guys one of the best things you can do for your overall chest development, and that is to do 2 slight angle variations of the dumbbell press. So you're just going to take a bench, take a plate, pick the bottom up, throw the plate under it, so you're at a very slight decline. 2 to 3 sets, just like we do with every exercise. Slide it out, go around the back, slide it under the back, so that you're doing a slight incline. The research has shown that a slight incline and a slight decline work much better for your overall chest development than the extreme inclines and extreme declines. So the fixated benches, they're at too steep of angles, incline and decline. So just grab your flat bench, seat, and slide a plate on the bottom, do a few sets, switch it, slide your plate under the top, so that you're just at like 1.5 inches, just a plate's width angle, and that's the best thing for overall chest development. All right, guys, just wrapped up that chest workout, and what do we do as soon as we finish that last set? Core post. I do 3 scoops, so that puts you at about 44 grams. I guess 27 or 28 grams per 2 scoops. So, you're getting close to your 50 grams of max protein absorption at a time. So we slam that as soon as we finish the last set of the workout, and then we fly on over to the house and eat our last.
Did you get the vax?
I got the vaccine.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Even 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, and also, bro, you know how it is. This is the same like you go to a party.
You were worried about your heart?
And you are with the wrong people. All of a sudden, you might do something on this party that you don't want to do because there's these people that are like, you should do it.
Dude, fuck.
So I'm in this place also. I was in this place. We don't need to say where it is exactly, but I was there, and my friends said like, we can get it. You should get it, man. And I'm like,
you got peer pressured into the vax?
Yeah, kind of.
Is that what you're saying? I don't like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Whatever. It is what it is.
When I think about it later on, I'm like, what did I do, man? But, oh my God, this turns into weird conspiracy theories, because I did blood cleaning twice after all this. I did a plasmapheresis with taking out heavy metals and all that stuff. Oh man, yeah, I did all this. I don't know, this is too controversial probably to say this.
Wait, no, say it.
I went to the doctor and I did my blood work again because I check my blood work all the time, and then I show it to the doctor and we kind of see these particles and I'm like, what is this? And then they all
no way,
this is
shut the fuck up.
This is from this. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I show it to another of my friends, and there's all kind of hidden websites that you can't get to, but it's like the dark media kind of web. And there's even more conspiracies.
This is crazy as fuck, because I know you're the kind of guy who for sure you got your blood work all the time, and then you're telling me you got the thing, and then you got your blood work, and then it was fucking crazy.
And this guy's also big into it. So he's like, you need to do a plasmapheresis now. So they poke like a fucking needle into your arm here, which is like a pen, like thick like this, bro. It's unbelievable thick needle. And they take all your blood out, put it into this machine, and then clean it and bring it back. So we did this with the heavy metal cleaning and all this stuff, which supposedly cleaned my blood. I did a D-dimer test and all this. I don't know if you know what it is. It's like this determines like the clotting of your arteries and stuff, like D-dimer. And like my D-dimer was this, and then after all this it was that. And then I did. So
did it improve after you got that?
What's up, guys? So earlier in the video, you seen me go over some chest tips, how to develop your chest, and went over some of my wife's DMs that are pretty funny. But the main topic of this video I want to talk about, and as I'm recording now, I don't know what order I'll put this in editing, so forgive me if you're watching this first or later, whatever. But the main topic of this video I really want to talk about is Joesthetics. All right, and he was only 30 years old, very popular fitness influencer who just died. And you got his coach, Greg Doucette, speculating why he thinks he died. He's saying, I don't know if he made a speculation of why he died. He just kind of defended some of the accusations. And I agree with him. I don't think it was the amount of gear he was taking, because if you look at his size, he doesn't look like somebody that was taking a lot of gear. And obviously with his aesthetics, you know, and under Greg Doucette, as much as I don't care for him and some of the things he says, he's a good coach, all right? If you're following his training and eating and supplement gear protocols, then you know what you're doing, all right? Especially if you've been following him for years, like apparently Joe had. So obviously his training, nutrition, and everything was dialed in well. So that wouldn't have been as, and Greg's not known for putting people on very massive dose cycles. And like I said, just look at his size. Does it look like somebody that was on very crazy amounts of gear either? You don't need very large amounts of gear for that small cut up aesthetic physique he had. So, and the gear, you know, steroids are one of the safest drugs you can possibly take. You know, it is probably the safest drug you could take. All right, I would bet that it's even safer than marijuana. No one's ever died from marijuana. So you could make the argument that some people have died indirectly from steroids. It's not like you take a steroid overdose and die. But if you abuse the hell out of them, I mean, hell, you can abuse the hell out of water and die. You can, right now, overdose yourself on water, drink too much and die. All right, so it's easier to overdose yourself and die off water than it is off steroids. All right, so just because you can overdo something doesn't mean it's inherently bad. What we have seen is if you abuse it and take them stupidly, and you don't manage symptoms on them, primarily blood pressure over time, then that can damage your heart or your kidneys. If you abuse the orals, but really the most dangerous one would be the diuretics, which aren't steroids. They can really foul you up too. But what you see is it's people dying much later in life that abuse them, all right? We see tons of people in their 60s and 70s, like Dorian Yates and Arnold Schwarzenegger, that abuse steroids admittedly and are perfectly healthy. So again, those are my reasons. I agree with Greg Doucette that it was not steroids that contributed to Joesthetics' death. I would say John Bravo mentioned caffeine, and while somebody joked on him, I actually agree with him. All right, except for one reason, which I'm going to get to next. I'm going to get to you my reason of why I think he passed. And anybody that thinks about it logically would come to the same conclusion if you're given the information. But no one's talking about it because they're afraid to get banned. I'll be very careful how I tread on it. But I just want to touch on the caffeine part. It could have been, if Joesthetics had not been quadruple vaxxed at least 3 times, but I'm pretty certain, based off the information I've read online, 4 doses he took. We've never seen young athletes dying before until now. This didn't start until people started getting the jab. Now, I'm not going to directly make that connection because I don't want to get my channel censored. You also have to ask yourself, though, if there's no truth or validity, then why do they censor this information so hard? All right, so I'm not going to make any connection. I'm just going to state as a matter of fact that he was at least triple, if not quadruple vaxxed. All right, so that's just the fact that he was, and he died at 30 years old. That's all I'll say on it. If that wasn't a contributing factor, I'm not saying whether it was or not. Again, I got to be very careful because it's just insane how the powers that be will go after people for making these connections. All right. But John Bravo mentioned that he was drinking 4 liters of coffee a day, not 4 cups, which that in itself would be insane and dumb, but 4 liters. If you don't know how much a liter it is, look it up, but 4 liters of coffee is insane. All right. You would be safer and better off taking stimulant drugs like amphetamines. All right, we don't see this kind of damage on people that take their daily prescription of Adderall, which is, you know, just one molecule slightly altered from the street drug methamphetamine. All right, 4 liters of coffee is insane. It's stupid. So if it's not the thing that we won't talk about, that we can't talk about, then I would say the thing that next makes the most sense is what John Bravo said, 4 liters of coffee. Because not only is that just dangerous enough in itself, but Joesthetics died from a brain aneurysm. Google it. There is a direct connection between stimulants and brain aneurysms. All right, so we know there is the research, the data is out there that overconsumption of stimulants like caffeine can and does cause brain aneurysms. All right, so maybe it was even multifactorial. All right, maybe he had done a number on himself from abusing several of these things. But like I said, there's never before in the history of man has young athletes died like they are now. Causation doesn't equal correlation, people say, but by God, people, how much do you have to see of it before you draw the conclusion in your head of what's really going on here? Athletes dropping in the fields left and right. Joesthetics shouldn't have died at 30 years old. I don't care how much steroids he was taking. All right, and even though 4 liters of coffee is absolutely crazy, I could see it catching up to him later, but at 30 years old, use your brain, people. Be smart. Take your health into your own hands and just think about these things logically. All right, that's all I'm going to say on it. But my personal opinion, it may sound harsh to some people, but I'm a firm believer in survival of the fittest, natural law, Darwin's theory. All right, we evolve in a systematic way to where the survival of the fittest survive. And if people are too dumb to think of themselves and they're not going to take health into their own hands and make logically sound decisions like not drinking 4 liters of coffee a day, maybe not getting medical, gotta be careful what I say here, medical practice that hasn't been proven to be safe yet. We've only seen the opposite. We've only seen in the research that has been allowed out that there has been negative health effects. All right, we're talking about getting things that alter your very DNA for a virus that had a 98% survival rate. All right, so once again, make it very clear so my channel does not get censored. I'm not making any conclusions here. I'm just simply stating facts of what this man was doing so that people can draw their own conclusions of what may or may not have happened. But as always, guys, take your health into your own hands. And even if you are under the guise of allopathic medicine, i.e. medical doctors, you should still be doing everything in your power to keep yourself as healthy as you can, i.e. not abusing stimulants, not abusing anything, eating healthy, living healthy, and being happy. In this day and age, being happy, strong, and healthy is one of the most revolutionary acts you can do, because the powers that be do not want that. They want the very opposite. They want you sick, sad, and dependent on medicine for the rest of your life, because this is a capitalist society that is driven by profit, not by love. As always, guys, love you. Like, share, subscribe, click the bell for notifications if you haven't already. Hey guys, I just wanted to quickly add to this video. So I spoke on Joesthetics and his death, how he had been triple or quadruple vaxxed. So he did take 4 doses. I'm going to put a link to a video he did with Bradley Martin prior to his death, obviously. But 2 things. One, he openly admits on this podcast that he regretted getting quadruple vaxxed, and that he had medical problems from it. That this is confirmed, a fact. This is not conspiracy talk. This is not opinion. This is straight from the horse's mouth, Joesthetics himself. Because he was under coach's supervision, just like any of my clients that I coach that are on gear, and preferably anyone that's willing to anyway, I have them do routine blood work. I read their blood work so we can best navigate their health. And that's what he was doing. He routinely had blood work. He knows what his blood work looked like consistently for years. After getting the jabs, his blood work went to shit. This is by his own mouth, all right? And this is staying up on Bradley Martin's channel, so I'm going to assume that it's safe for me to repeat it, because I'm going to put a link to the video in here, just to hopefully be safe. But he said that he not only did his blood work go to shit, just like we're hearing from tons of people where they're finding toxic metals in their blood, but he had to get his blood filtered out, all right? And it was directly from that. And you could tell he made it very clear that he regretted getting them. It was a mistake. It was bad for his health. So, again, it doesn't prove that's why he died, but, I just wanted to add that. And mainly the reason I'm adding it is because I told you I wasn't sure if he had 3 or 4. It was, in fact, 4. But also, after watching him in this interview, I have to admit I judged him. I just assumed that he was an idiot. And obviously, I still hold the opinion at one point in his life, for him to get that many jabs, I believe, in my opinion, he had to have been an idiot in that area. But listening to him speak about it in this podcast, he sounded very rational and reasonable. He admitted that it was a mistake. He was peer pressured and did it without looking into it for himself. And if he could go back, he wouldn't have had it done. It was a mistake. So my mistake for judging him. I mean, I didn't speak bad about him on this video, but I did just mention, natural selection. And I do believe that, if somebody dies directly from that, then that's natural selection. That's just how it works. If you're not smart enough to take better care of your health, then whatever happens to you, happens to you. But he seemed like a decent guy. And then I watched another video, and I may add that link to it too, that was from the same podcast, just different. They broke it down into clips with Bradley Martin, where he talked about what happened to German culture and how Germans have had their culture systematically destroyed, just like we're seeing the white guilt thing here in America. And he talked about how that happened in Germany. And so I have to admit, I was wrong on judging him. He sounds like a very reasonable, rational, intelligible guy. And it's very unfortunate that he died from something, from peer pressure. A lot of people, well, again, we don't know that, but, we do know that his health suffered from it at least. So, but, if that was the case, it's unfortunate because, he's not an idiot. He's actually seems like and not only does he seem like a intelligible guy, but he seems very positive. I wasn't a follower of his. Obviously, I know him from the fitness industry, but very positive guy. Very, very, you can just tell in everything you watch him. I mean, it's very positive. He was a fitness influencer. So, anyway, guys, I just wanted to add that.